On this episode of Living with a Classic, I'll show you how to replace all the bushes in the front anti-roll bar of either an XJS, an XJ6, or an XJ12. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you stick around and consider subscribing. I put out new videos every week on some Jaguar and classic car related content. And today's video, like I said before, is all about replacing those anti-roll bar bushes, both the ones that go up on the front of the anti-roll bar, known as the D bushes, and the small little bushes that go back on the side. There's 4 of those on each side. It's pretty easy to replace this, and I think this is a really great job if you just got in your car and you feel some clunks and things and you're kind of unsure what you're going to replace. If you replace everything in the suspension, and I mean, that's a lot of work. Yes, it's really nice afterwards, but it's a lot of work, and some of that can be quite difficult if you haven't worked a lot on cars. But this is something that you can easily replace by yourself with some basic tools. You need a jack, some jack stands, possibly an extra jack like a bottle jack, and I'll show you that later. And then you just need some basic tools, and it's pretty easy. You can do it in the afternoon, you can go out and enjoy the car again. To demonstrate this, I would do it on this XJS over here. It's not the XJS that you usually see on my channel. That one is behind over there. It's my friend's XJS. He brought it over, and I'm going to do a lot of work to this car on here on the channel, so you guys will see this, some suspension work. I'm also going to do some things with the gearbox mount, replace all the fluids, all the coolant hoses, and then we're going to put in a Fenair air conditioning system, a similar system that I have in my 1977 XJ12. It's a great system. It takes almost no power from the engine. Everything bolts up really nicely, and everything is just new, and it works extremely well. So that will be a future video on how to put one of those systems. It comes as a whole kit for whichever car that they offer. I've put them in on for the V12, and I'm going to do one for 3.6. So yeah, this is a Jaguar XJS C, the 3.6 straight 6, and what makes it really special, it's a manual gearbox, and it's an Arden car. So from the factory, or directly after it came from the factory, I got some modifications to suspension from Arden, so it's a very, very cool XJS. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want an in-depth tour of this car in a future video. I can take it out, we can have a look at it and see what a 3.6 manual is really like on the road. But now let's head over to the car and replace those bushes. With the car safely in the air on jack stands and the wheel removed, you can easily see the parts that we're going to replace. So you have the 4 little bushings over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it's pretty compressed and cracked, and that one's cracked as well, so it's a good thing we're replacing them. While I'm replacing these, I'm going to replace this bushing here as well. Doesn't look too bad, but it's really easy to replace when you have this apart. So this big D bush in here. A while ago I sprayed everything with some WD-40, so everything should come off pretty easily. There's a bolt over there, a bolt over there, and then one nut up there and nut down there. So I'll grab some tools, set up the camera. We'll start by taking these off first, and then we'll take that off. These are just 9/16 here, top and bottom. The rod is also 9/16, so if you want to use a wrench there to hold against it. Usually it's not needed when you disassemble, unless it's really rusted, but it's good when you want to reassemble everything again. So I'm going to get this top one off, the bottom one off, and then I'll show you a little trick on how to get this out. So now both the top and the bottom nut are removed. I removed the bushings there as well and the washers, and all of this is free and ready to come off. However, there's quite a lot of pressure here. This is a giant spring. This is where you need to be really careful and just use your common sense. I've used a bottle jack like this on a block of wood and done it on several cars. I've never had an accident, but you just need to use common sense and be careful not to have your finger in there and have a look that this doesn't slip. Fortunately, I found there's not enough room to do it with a ratchet strap up top. And I found that this is the easiest way of doing it. So I'm going to try and do it with one hand now while filming. So basically I'm pumping it up. And as you can see, as it goes up, see it's starting to go over the top one there. So just keep an eye on everything. Make sure it goes up pretty level. That's why a bottle jack is really good, because it just goes straight up. And you can see it just fell on the side there. And that's ready to go out. If you're only replacing these right now, you can leave the jack in place, replace the bushes, put it back in very carefully. Whatever you do, don't put your finger in between there and up there. So hold down here so you can't get hurt and guide it through the hole. But I'm going to remove it completely now, let go of this pressure, and then we can get to that bush in there at the same time. On these straight sixes, it's very easy to get to the bush on the top. Here are the bolts to go through, so you can just put a spanner on top and bottom, get those 2 bolts out. It is possible to do from underneath, and on the V12 it's actually possible to do on top as well. You just need to remove the air filter, the trumpets to go over here, and you have a lot of space to actually get them out as well. So I'm just going to loosen those 2 bolts there, and then you can simply pull that bushing out. So I'll loosen those 2 bolts, pull that bushing out, and let's have a look at the old one that's come out, and we'll have a look at the other bushings I just took off as well. So I undid those bolts, removed the little bracket, and just slid the bushing out. This is the way it came out, the slot to the rear of the car. And when I put it next to the new one, you can really see that it didn't look that bad when it was in place, but this one's definitely a lot better. It's been squished out here. It's really soft and squishy, and the new one is a little firmer and it has the right shape. And these ones, well, they're stuck to the washers here. See if I can get one off. And you can really see the difference. I hold them up like this. This is the old and new ones. So that's going to make a huge difference. So I'm going to put on the new bush in here. And the bolts and everything, put that back in place. Put these ones on here with new washers. Then I'm going to use the jack again to push up the anti-roll bar. Put everything back in place carefully. Let go of the pressure and tighten it down, and then I'll show you what it all looks like when it's back together with all the new parts. It's a little hard to see, but the big D bush in there is in place and everything is tightened down. And I've started to put these bushes back to the top. I've started to tighten down. But if you have a look here at the bottom, this often happens. So if you put the bush on in there, you can see I don't even have to put the washer. I'm sure you can see, but the threads are barely sticking out. So what I like to do is, once again, grab a small jack. And they're there, and put a little bit of pressure on the whole suspension, not too much, and then this will push down, and you see you have a lot more threads there. So I'll put the camera down, I'll put this on, tighten everything down, and I'll show you when it's all done. Now everything is tightened down, and I got to remove the jack. So you see it looks a lot better now, no cracks, they're not as collapsed. They always do sit a little bit of a weird angle like this when the car is up in the air. When you get pressure on here with the wheel, everything does level off a bit more and it looks more normal. And that in there, a little hard to see, but that's brand new. And sitting in there nicely, that looks perfect. Now, I just have to do the other side as well. And that's it for this episode. I think the owner's going to feel a big difference up front because those bushes were in a pretty bad shape. I think the car is going to handle a lot better and corner a lot nicer. As you saw, it's not that difficult to do at all, and anyone can do this at home on your driveway, or you don't have to be in a workshop like this. You can be outside in the driveway. You just need a jack, some axle stands, and some basic tools, and a few hours of extra time. You can replace that, no problem at all. So please let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more videos on this very special XJS. And of course, there will be more videos on the 91 V12 XJS coming up also. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your Jaguar friends, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. So until next time, I'm Adam, and this was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.